Hello. Today we're in the fourth activity of the parameters chapter in Learn to Code 2, and this one is called Placing at a Specific Location. So we've got a little bit of reading to do here. There's some interesting material in the reading for below the goal here, and after we do this, it won't take us too long to solve this puzzle. But after we solve this puzzle, have kind of a fun activity that we can do for this puzzle. So I think you'll enjoy it. So stick around for that. All right, the goal is to place our character at a specific location in the puzzle world. Okay, normally when we run my code, the character gets placed at a certain location for us. There's a little arrow on one of the tiles, and that's where the character gets placed. In this case, we're going to place the character where we think it will be best for us to rather quickly solve the puzzle. Okay? So down here it says that using the place method, this is a new function that we haven't seen before. If we say world.place here, there are three parameters in the place function or place method. Sometimes functions are called methods. And they are item is the first parameter, and its type is item, whatever that is. And the second parameter is at column, and its type is an integer. And then the third parameter is row, and its type is an integer also. So down here it describes each of these parameters. Item is an input takes an input of type item, which includes your character and expert types. So it looks like we can place some item, like a character or an expert instance, anywhere on the puzzle. Okay, and the place where you put it is going to be defined by the column or the row, or the column and the row. Okay, and both of those are integers. Now, we don't know which in this grid, so the puzzle is laid out in a grid, right? And we don't know which dimension is the columns and which dimension are the rows. It could be that columns are these and rows are these. Or it could be that columns are these and rows are these. Okay? Now, one thing they give us here down are a couple hints to help us out. We can tap on a tile in this puzzle to find out its coordinates. Okay, so if I tap on this tile right here, I see it highlighted for a second, and it shows me that the coordinates there are 0, 0. Okay, if I move, say, up here, 1, 2, 3, now my coordinates are 3, 0. Or if I go up this way, 1, 2, 3, now it's 0, 3. Okay, so this is either row 0, column 3, or column 0, row 3. And this one over here is the same thing, either row 3, column 0, or column 3, row 0. We don't know which one is column or which one is rows yet. We can play around here to figure that out, though. All right, and then it says, finally, examine the map to find a starting location for your expert, and then use the column and row value of that location in your place method in order to place your expert. So let's play around with this before we go and look at where we want to put this. Let's play around with how this world.place function works. Okay, so in this first line, we're creating an expert like normal, an instance of type expert. And so we can place that expert then anywhere on here. So if I say world.place, the item I want to place is an expert. Okay, and column or row here, let's try this. Let's say column 3, row 0. And that might help us find out which one of these are columns and which ones are rows. So I'll run my code. And there it is. So our expert showed up at this location here, 3, 0. So this must be column 3. If this is column 3, then our columns are here. Column 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. right? And our rows will be here then. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So that's how this grid is laid out. Columns are over here, rows are over here. All right. Now, we can go ahead and look at this puzzle and see if there's a good place to put the expert so that he can fairly easily, without writing too much code, or maybe we can generalize some things and write some nice functions so that he can pick up the 3 gems he needs to pick up. So I see the 3 gems. One is up here on this very top wall, and it is really close to this red switch, or red lock. Okay, and then there's another gem down here on this bottom platform that is, again, just 2 tiles away, closest to us, from this blue switch. So that's interesting. Those 2 things, we might be able to use that idea that there's a gem that's right behind us as we're turning locks. Now, will we have to turn these locks? Like this lock right here, this red one, and this red platform, the red platform and the blue platform. We're going to need to use we're going to need to raise the red platform if we're going to want to turn the lock up, the red lock up, and then come down here and turn the blue lock up. We're going to need to get that red platform up so we can get down there to the blue lock. And then once the blue one is raised, we'll be able to transport ourselves from this portal to over here and move down to get this final gem over here. So it looks like a good place to start might be up on this top wall by this red lock here. So how to figure out how to get up there? Well, this is in the 0, 1, 2. It's in the second column. Remember, we start at 0. 0, 1, 2. It's in the second column. And then, whoops, try this again. It's in the second column, and then we need to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'll be the second column, the 6th row. I think the second column, the 6th row. Let's go ahead and try that out here. Second column, 6th row, just to make sure we end up there. And it'll also be useful to see which way we're facing here. So I ran it, and there, that's exactly where we want to be with our expert. So I think the thing to do is we could either pick up the gem and then turn the lock, or turn the lock and then pick up the gem. I'm going to say let's go ahead and turn to the left so that we can pick up or turn the lock. So expert dot turn left, and then expert dot turn lock up. We'll raise the platform, and then we want to get him to turn around. So maybe we'll make a function expert turn around. I'll go ahead and do that right now before I forget. Expert turn around, and that's just going to be an expert dot turn left and another expert dot turn left. Okay, now we can call expert turn around, and when he turns around, he's going to just go get that gem. So expert dot, he's going to just need to move forward once from where he is to go ahead and say expert dot collect gem. Okay, and then I think we want to get him back to where he is and to the direction he's facing now, because the next thing he's going to need to do is move down these stairs to get to the next location, right? So let's add that in here as well. So expert dot turn, or expert turn around, because he'll be facing the wrong way, and then expert move forward, and finally expert turn right. We'll get him facing the way he is now. So let's try all this to make sure this works. So he turns to the left, he turns the red lock up, then he'll turn around, going to move forward, collect the gem, then turn around again, move forward, and turn to the right so he's facing down the stairs, just like he was originally. Okay? Alright, now let's plan out the rest of this here a little bit. So that we picked up one gem. Now if we move down, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we move 5 forward, we are going to be in exactly the same location with this blue lock here. And then if we go through the same procedure we did before, where if we turn to the left, turn the lock up, turn around, move forward, collect the gem, turn around again, move forward, and turn right. If we do that all again, we'll be facing this portal, and then we can keep moving forward to this portal, and we'll end up over here on this next batch of things. So it looks like we can repeat this pattern twice. In fact, we can repeat this pattern now. Let's add this as well, where we say expert dot, what did we say? We wanted to move forward 5, correct? Okay, that will get us there. And so if we call this twice, if we do this set of instructions from here to here twice, we should end up collecting both gems and end up very close to this last gem here. So I could put this all in a for loop here if I want to, but let's just call a function here. Let's make this a function so that we can get these details away here and we don't have to think about this anymore. So what we're doing here is we're turn lock, then collect gem and move forward or something like that. Okay, this is a pretty specific function, so there's not really a great name for this, but what it's doing is it's taking care of large parts of this puzzle on its own here. So I might make a comment in here that says collect first gem, and to do that we're just going to do this big function here, turn lock, then collect gem and move. And then I'll use another one here, collect second gem. We could put this in a loop if we wanted to, but I think this reads pretty well if we just have 2 calls to it, because it's collect first gem and collect second gem, and we're not going to be able to use this function again. So let's watch and see what happens. So first we're going to call turn lock, then collect gem and move, and we place our expert up here. And he's going to turn the lock, and then turn around and collect the gem, and then turn around, move back to where he was, turn to the right, and then the move forward 5 will bring him down so he's facing the so that he's on this lower level. And now if we call turn lock, then collect gem and move again, he'll do the same thing. Turns the lock, which raises the blue platform. Okay, moves forward, turns to the right, and now he's calling his move forward 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, it's almost there. So the last thing we need to do here is let's just add a little comment in here that says collect final gem. Okay, and all he needs to do here is be expert dot move forward and then collect the gem. Okay, so I'll run this a little faster, and well, let's run it in the step through my code mode. So first thing that should happen is this turn lock and then collect gem. Oh, first there it is. After we place our expert up there, turn lock then collect gem happens. And he turns to the left twice in our turn around, moves forward, collects the gem, turns around again, and then he turns to the right, and then he's ready to move forward 5. which gets him all set to call the function again to collect the second gem. So there it got called, turn, lock, then collect gem and move. He turns around after raising the blue platform. Move forward, collect the gem, turn around, move forward, turn to the right, and then he's going to move forward 5 again. 1. Oh, he does a nice front flip before going on that portal. Okay, and that's it. Now finally, just to collect the final gem, he moves forward and then collects the gem. Okay, great. So like I said at the beginning, we've got a fun activity we're going to do here now. So just to review, what we did is we placed an expert anywhere at one of, we call it a coordinate, which is a specific row, a number that represents a row and a number that represents the column, and we placed the expert wherever we wanted that best solved the puzzle. And after we placed that on there, we could then just think about what sequence of commands can we do that we can maybe repeat and put into a function and then abstract those details away so that we don't have to worry about it again. So that's this function we wrote here, turn, lock, then collect gem and move, because that pattern gets repeated twice. And after the second time, then it's a really simple move, a couple commands to move forward and collect the gem. Okay? All right. Let's try this now. I was wondering, as we did this, could we also put a character, or even more than one character, at locations on the puzzle map. So let's play around with this here a little bit. And you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I'm going to delete this code here. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete all of this also. And let's have some fun, and let's build an army of characters if we can. Okay, so let's just see if we can also put a character up there. So let a character equals an instance of character. Okay, and then sorry, we don't need the braces there. After we create an instance of character, let's say world.place, and we want to place the item a character at some column. Let's try it at 0, 0. It should be right down here in front of us, this one right here. Okay, so let's try that. I'll say run my code, and we should have an expert and a character. There's our expert, and there's our character. Okay, now I want to see if I can put this sequence of commands where I create a character and then place it. I'm going to put this in a for loop here and create a bunch of them. So for let's put it along a certain row here. So for row in 1 up to maybe 8, actually I should start at 0 because we know that the index starts at 0, the row. I want to 8 times, for 8 different rows, I want to create a new character right here and then place that character, and I don't want to keep placing them all at 0, 0. I want to place them all on the very first column, but at different rows. And the rows I want to be row 0, then row 1, then row 2, then row 3, then row 4, and so on. So this index here, row, that's an integer that starts at 0 and goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I'll just change the name of this to be something like grid row. Okay, so if grid row is going to go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if I place each character, each new character that I make, each of the 9 new characters I make at the grid row, the value for grid row, that should put them all at different rows but at the same column. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. I'll run the code here. And remember, grid row will be 0 and column will be 0 the first time. So there we go. Aha. And the next time, column will be 0, grid row will be 1. Next time, column will be 2, and so column will be 0, and grid row will be 2, and so on, all the way down the line. So that's cool, right? Now, to complete our army, though, let's do this. Oh, there's one even hanging off the edge. Let's do this same thing for every column. Okay, so I'm going to do a for loop that places a character on every row, but I'm going to do that for every column. Okay, so that means we need to take this for loop here and run that 8 times or 9 times for every column. So that itself, this for loop is going to be inside another for loop. Okay, let's try this. So for this one will be grid column in 0 to something like 8. We want to do, the thing we want to do that many times is this set of things right here, is that for loop. Okay, so if this inner for loop means place a character on every row in a column, then I want the outer for loop to be place a row of characters, an entire row of characters on every column. Okay, so all we need to do to fix this now is we don't want to always place them at column 0. We want to place them at grid column. So grid column is going to start at 0, then go to 1, then go to 2, and so on. And when grid column is 0, the first time through this loop, when grid column is 0, then this inner loop here, we call it a nested loop, this nested loop is going to place one at every row. And then when grid column is 1, we'll be working in this column right here, and this inner loop will place one at every row of here, 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 and so on. Okay? And then it'll go so that grid column will move up to 2, and we'll place them in a row here, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, and so on. So we can hopefully fill up this whole puzzle and more with characters if this works. So I'll try to run this a little faster and we'll see what happens. Okay, well, very nice. Look at that. We've got an army of characters. I don't know if they're a very disciplined army because they seem to all be a little fidgety, but it's kind of a lot of fun. Now, you should do this on your own and play with it. I'll give you a little hint. You can even make these characters extend off a little bit from their location. So you don't have to start at 0 is what I'm saying. You might be able to even start from something like, -3 or something all the way up to 8, and you'll get characters that are extend beyond. This army will extend beyond the boundaries of the island here. So anyway, have some fun with that. Again, this is called a nested loop because we have a loop, the loop that puts a character on each row. We have a loop inside another loop, and we say this loop is nested, and it completes all the way. This one completes all the way before grid column goes up to its next number, and then this loop completes all the way, and then grid column goes up to its next number, and so on. So that's how this works. Anyway, enjoy, have fun, and we'll see you next time.